The valley was calm as the first light of morning painted the cliffs with gold. The River Clan had survived storms, fires, and predators. They had learned to speak, to hunt, and to guide one another through darkness. Yet the quiet of dawn carried a new lesson, one that could not be taught through words or actions alone. Kai woke early, as he often did, drawn to the river's edge. The water shimmered in the pale light, reflecting not only the sky, but the countless generations who had lived and thrived here. He felt a pull, a quiet whisper that seemed to rise from the earth itself. Lina approached, her feet soft on the dew-covered grass. "The dawn speaks differently when we listen," she said. "It carries the voices of the past, and the promises of the future." Kai looked at her, curious. "Voices of the past?" "Yes," Lina whispered. "The first people, the first fires, the first stories, they echo through time. We hear them if we are patient, if we are open." That morning, Aru led the tribe to the top of a ridge overlooking the valley. From there, the River Clan could see the forests, rivers, and mountains stretching beyond their home. "Today," Aru said, "we listen. Not for words, not for commands, but for echoes. The world has memory, and we can hear it if we still ourselves." The tribe sat quietly, watching the river, the trees, and the movement of animals below. Birds called in rhythms older than memory. The wind rustled through the grass, carrying scents and sounds unfamiliar yet familiar. Kai closed his eyes. He felt the heartbeat of the valley, the pulse of life, the echo of past generations, and the promise of those yet to come. "This," Aru said softly, "is wisdom beyond speech. It is knowing that we are part of something greater than ourselves." As the sun climbed higher, Lina began pointing out patterns. Stones aligned naturally along the riverbank, leaves formed spirals in the wind, and the animals moved in paths that mirrored the currents. "Everything has rhythm," she said. "Even chaos has order if we watch carefully. The first dawns taught our ancestors how to live, and now they teach us." Kai pointed to a series of stones near the river. "They form a line, like a path," he said. "Do you think they were placed by others?" Aru nodded. "Perhaps. Perhaps nature itself. Or perhaps the first people. The echoes of those who came before still shape this land." The tribe began to arrange stones in patterns of their own, marking places of memory, lessons learned, and guidance for future travelers. This act was more than survival. It was the beginning of recorded knowledge. As the day progressed, the River Clan experienced small, inexplicable events. A flock of birds rose suddenly, forming shapes in the sky that resembled the hunter's movements. Wind whispered through the cliffs, sounding almost like voices calling names of ancestors. A deer paused to watch the tribe, then led them toward a patch of ripe berries, as if guiding them with ancient knowledge. Lina observed carefully. "These are the echoes," she said. "The first dawns left lessons in the world, in creatures, rivers, and stones. If we pay attention, they guide us still." Kai felt all. The world was alive in ways he had only begun to understand. Words and stories were powerful, but the echoes of the first dawn carried wisdom older than words themselves. By afternoon, the tribe had mapped paths along the river, marked safe places, and noted patterns of animal movement. They realized that observation, patience, and humility were as important as courage and strength. Aru addressed the group. "Every dawn teaches something new. Do not rush. Do not assume you know all that can be learned. The world is patient, and it rewards those who are patient in turn." Kai, sitting beside his parents, nodded. He understood that leadership was not only action, but reflection. To guide the tribe, he would need to listen to these subtle lessons, not only act upon them. Lina suggested a new ritual. Each evening, as the sun set, the tribe would gather near the river and recount what they had observed, what the echoes had taught them, and what patterns they noticed. "These observations," she said, "become stories, then words, then knowledge. We honor the past and guide the future." The children eagerly participated, describing shadows, sounds, and movements, while the elders added their interpretations. Kai began recording symbols in the dirt, linking echoes with words, gestures, and stories. The tribe realized that observation itself could become a form of language, a bridge between memory, wisdom, and survival. That night, the river clan sat in the fire circle, listening to the river's gentle murmur. Stars shimmered above, distant yet vibrant, forming constellations no one had seen before. Lina spoke softly. The echoes of the first dawn remind us that we are part of a larger story. Every action we take is recorded by the world. Every choice matters. Aru added. We are students of the land, the sky, the river, and the wind. The echoes teach if we listen. Kai traced symbols in the dirt, capturing the lessons of the day, the river's path, the patterns of birds, the whispers of wind. He realized that the first dawns were not only ancient events, they were living guidance, constantly shaping the tribe's survival, wisdom, and culture. Over the following days, the river clan incorporated these lessons into daily life. Children learned to watch patterns, predict movements, and anticipate dangers. Hunters noticed subtle changes in animal behavior. Elders shared the echoes with every generation. Kai, guided by Lina and Aru, became adept at translating these subtle observations into words, symbols, and rituals. He understood that knowledge was not merely survival, but connection between people, nature, and the past. Lina smiled as she watched him. The echoes of the first dawn live in him, she whispered. Aru nodded. And through him, they will live in the generations to come. The valley, the river, the forest, they are all teachers. And now, the tribe listens. The river clan had survived, learned, and grown. But with the echoes of the first dawn, they understood something deeper. Life is a teacher, and observation is a skill. Knowledge is recorded not only in words but in gestures, patterns, and memory. Connection with the land, animals, and ancestors shapes survival, wisdom, and culture. Kai looked at the sunrise, the river, and the valley beyond. He felt the weight of responsibility and the promise of discovery. The first dawns had whispered their lessons, and he had begun to understand. The river clan slept that night with hearts full of respect, curiosity, and purpose. They had not only survived, they had listened to the echoes of the world itself, and in doing so, had glimpsed the path to the future.